I still smile at how every single detail and feature is doing what it's supposed to do. What's all this anyway? What's this contact instrument that I'm tweaking right now? I'll explain. Hello, it's LALIO, and now proudly say LALIO from Silvermount Audio. I was up to something very important since the spring of 2022. I wanted to create a product, something to sell, and something that has my signature on it. The first thought was a pick bass library. Initially, I thought most it would do is to have an alternate pick function at best. A very simple UI, basically just a wallpaper. No effects modules, knobs, or switches, just to get me started with developing. But as soon as I finished recording and editing all the pick samples and began writing the KSP code for the instrument, I saw how flexible everything became. An extra switch there, a couple knobs there. How about a couple more articulations besides normal pick? And that's how troubles began. I keep saying it now when I talk to people about it, but I simply did not know of the things I still didn't know that I had to learn on my own to complete a premium bass library. Finishing almost sounded like a blatant lie. Sometimes I could not believe there was an end to it. Recording all 6100 plus samples, editing those samples, figuring out the sample groups for the instrument, then write the KSP code, then learn Blender for the 3D renders of the knobs and the artwork and the layout. Never done such a thing. Numerous comments like solutions to problems that felt unpleasant to the stomach. These were also my fingers after sampling all the slide samples. Building a library is not a one-person job, is what I'm trying to say. I would never do it if I knew the amount of things that I had to learn beforehand, if I'm honest, by the way. Coming from someone who had zero background or any prior knowledge in scripting, ending up with 15K or so lines, I must admit, not bad. It's only up from here. That was my mentality. If that switch works, if those articulations engage whenever I want, it means I can add more. Therefore, since August 2023, we have Torus Bass for Contact Player, which is the free version of Contact. Now that's amazing. What this means is that you don't have to own the full version of Contact to use Torus Bass. Just go to the Native Instruments website and download Contact Player for free. Link in the description. Torus Bass also in the description. Make sure to check it out. Maybe grab one for you and one for a friend. After you download and activate Torus Bass via your native access account, you're good to go to explore over 6100 plus samples that includes alternate pick, palm mute, dead notes, slap, harmonics, tap, pull, pick scrape, left hand perk, and scratch all strings. 10 articulations, but that's not all. 10 articulations with string select options as well. All 5 strings can be separately selected with any articulation that is string-oriented. An example of how specific you can ask Torus Bass to be is, for example, harmonics on A string, alternate picked. 3 options at once. And same goes with many other articulations too. Harmonics is a string-specific articulation, so you can read the info panel up here for all other string-specific articulations too. You can keep the info panel on or hide it to appreciate the artwork while Torus Bass does its thing. Right below the info panel, you have an interactive fretboard where you can casually click and listen and decide what sounds best to draw into your MIDI window. The fretboard also shows the active range of the playable notes in blue, where the indicator changes to your string select triggers. For each string select, the blue range also changes. And right below the fretboard, you have a rich panel of effects modules exposed for immediate control over your tonal characters you can achieve with Torus Bass. Right below the effects modules, you have a color-coded keyboard. You have your articulations in purple, alternate pick in red, and string select in green. The playable note range in blue, and your 4 groups of slide samples, real slide samples. The first 2 are from 1 to 12th fret, slide down and slide up, and the other 2 are from 12th fret to 24th fret, also slide down and slide up. All 4 groups are available in 3 real speeds, not artificially slowed down or sped up, real slide samples. You don't have to be too cautious choosing the speed velocity, as I split the velocity range in 3. You can broadly swipe the velocity and find the slow, medium, and fast sample speeds. Slow starts from 127, medium from 84, and fast from 41 through 1. Again, easy to find them even without the manual, but have a look at the manual though. It's only 1 page. Very easy. Easy manual. As far as general functionality, I wanted to keep every articulation controlled by the color-coded keys with MIDI only. You only have to look at one place to create your melody with articulations, all in one space. You don't have to look away to change an articulation setting. It's all available in the MIDI editor. If, for example, something sounds odd, it only means that the MIDI notes for each articulation are not properly drawn under your melody, are overlapping one another, or simply missing. Anything else regarding the sound and effects modules, switches, or knobs can be controlled on the user interface. Not to mention that Torus Bass is also fully integrated within the NKS hardware family. Back to functionality. I wrote the script in a way that by default the sound selection is set to down pick only, therefore the alternate pick indicator is off, on a 0 to 4 fret range with the entire G string finishing up the higher register, also shown on the string select block 2. The way I laid out all the articulations makes it very easy to memorize them all. They are many, but easy to grasp. Palm mute is the first one. C-2, first key. Easy to remember, as the first articulation when playing pick bass is possibly some palm mute here and there while you riff. So you can go from this to this. If you're on to palm mute, then you can go straight into dead notes right after it on C#-2 and get something like this. Then you could throw a slop in there on D-2. It's all groove based and close together. Harmonics are next, and you can go from this to this. Cool. Nice and melodic, and also nasty if you need them to. Next up, tap and pull E-2 and F-2. Easy to remember as they are the two white keys right next to each other. If you alternate between them, you can create nice legato lines, as tap can be used for hammer-ons and pull for pull-offs. The remaining three articulations use the last three purple keys. Pick scrape, left hand perk, and scratch all strings. Pick scrape with the previous bass line sounds like that's where the difference is. Left hand perk, and if we add left hand perk with scratch all strings to finish it up. The difference is here. Over there. Very nice. The groove possibilities are so many. Then, after your articulations, you have alternate pick and the rest green keys used for your string select options from B string through G string. Something important to note about the alternate pick functionality. Each time you introduce alternate pick, it always starts with a downstroke. This means that you can be very specific about it and create triplets. Over here, I'm going to, well, even without the alternate pick, let's have a listen. So alternate pick is A-2, and you don't have to color code your articulations, but I personally like to do so. Now let's listen to the same riff, but alternate picked. Try and listen to how it changes the feel of the bass line now. Every other triplet, the pick is up. So here, 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 and here, the pick is up. So it starts with an upstroke at those points. So on the next example, if I do this for only one triplet, and then duplicate as many times as we want, we covered all triplets starting with a downstroke. Let's have a listen again. And how about everything together? This one and the other bass lines I'm going to play are stress tests I wrote to trigger every single sound Torus bass can produce fast to also check if there are any hiccups in the samples or the script. Yeah, that's crazy. How about this one also? This one is the previews sample you hear going through the snapshots I'm going to show later. And this one, how about this one also? Yeah, this one might sound a bit crazy to pass as a real bassline, but it was perfect for a stress test. The brainchild of the riff you heard in the launch video was from early on, before I even completed the library. The Torus bass anthem that I like to call. Yeah. Now let's go to the effects section, and I'm going to keep the Torus bass riff as an example. Torus bass also has a dual effects chain, which is standard practice to process bass this way. Normally, you have your main bass channel, then have a copy with a high-pass filter and overdrive or distortion. With Torus bass, you can do this in one place, split in two color-coded lines, bus 1 for your main channel and bus 2 for your saturation channel. Going in, also illustrated on the info panel, you have a compressor for bus 1 and a limiter for bus 2 with calibrated reduction meters for both. After the compressor, you go straight into the amplifier. Just a simple power switch with a mid-cut, as I felt it wasn't as important to have the amp knobs taking up important space. The effect of them was not as drastic to justify them. Nothing that you, the user, should really worry about is hidden from sight. It wasn't a limitation on my end. I could do a hidden layout with pop-up windows, but when you're just holding a mouse, lacking the tactile feel, I felt that I should have left everything that matters visible and accessible. Articulations and performance choices happen in the MIDI editor. Tonal characters and effects modules are on the UI window. Completely separate, and you know exactly where to look at for each process every time. Then, a dedicated cabinet for bus 1. Very flexible cabinet, as you can change size and add some room to your tone, and bass and also treble. And to end bus 1, you go into the dedicated volume. Before we go into bus 2, you need to turn on the panel toggle for it to be engaged and work in parallel to bus 1. Even if you turn on everything and still left the panel toggle off, it wouldn't work as expected. Easy to flip between completely raw DI and both buses engaged in one click. After the limiter on bus 2, you have distortion with an integrated high pass. That's the whole point of having a second bass, if you ask me. You can go bananas with it. Add as much as you want, clean it up with some high pass, and then filter out some highs while shaping the tone for more pick attack. A very flexible saturation feature that can really morph your sound to extremes. Now, what's this small switch here? You can turn it off. Hear the effect and immediately turn it back on because it's better with it. A dab of some secret sauce, if you will, also shown as a mystery box up here on the info panel. To finish up Bass 2, you go into the dedicated volume. Master cab is exactly the same as the dedicated Bass 1 cab. Also illustrated on the info panel, both basses go straight into the master cab. Just a different option to have and do whatever you want with it. After all the tweaking, you can blend both signals to your liking with each bass volume that also changes color to the amount you add. I've thought about everything. If you don't feel like setting everything up yourself though, you can go straight into the snapshot menu where you'll find all 20 snapshots I created for you, which I believe truly represent the gradual changes you can achieve with Torus bass. They start from the raw DI, then they gradually get saturated, hotter, roasted, until they become big and woolly. How else are you going to describe such sound? Big woolly mammoth. Next up, we have the more section. When you want more, you click here and adjust more 1 and more 2. The more range is also indicated with red whenever more is activated. What I'm trying to say is, if Torus bass isn't giving you enough, you can simply add more. More also comes in stereo also. It gets more gnarly the lower you go. More low end, more oomph, or just more. Now, what about some performance realism in your bass arrangements? You can have realism with FR and NS, which stand for fret release and note stop, with dedicated on-off switches that toggle and dedicated volume faders as well. Now, why do you need them? They are release trigger noises whenever you release a note. So try and listen to the difference. Okay. Release triggers, and also fret release. If you don't need as much, turn it down. Same goes with note stop. If you want more, you can add more. Right above the release trigger section, there is a small switch. The dynamic switch, when turned off, it unloads or purges all of the real dynamic samples from 0 to 4 fret, from B string to G string. The dynamic range for those frets specifically is split into 5 ranges with real samples from soft, medium, medium hard, and hard played samples equaling to 50 samples for each fret in this range alone. When purged, the hard samples stay, but at the same time you can purge precisely 1000 samples, enough to justify purging them all and save almost 1 gigabyte from your memory. You can also see here how the dynamics are split with the exact velocity ranges. Let's hear a before and after. Dynamics are unloaded. Dynamics reloaded. On the very end of the panel, you'll find the articulation displays to see the effect of your arrangements live happening with left and right meters to show you that Torus bass is alive and well. Let's go back to the slide samples, as I said. Easy to find all 3 real speeds for all 4 groups. If you want to play it safe, you can always draw 127 for the slow samples, 75 for medium speed, and 12 or even lower, even 1 for your fast speeds. Even with the mouse, start at the very end, slow, then go mid, and then at the very end, fast. Easy. That's it. What a journey that was, from recording to editing, scripting and 3D designing everything myself. A very drastic DIY approach, I admit. Visit Silvermount Audio, get Torus bass and start adding it to your productions. Help me grow my Silvermount Audio product line so I can give you back more sound libraries and options at a better price. Throw a MIDI pack in there too. The Modern Metal MIDI pack. 252 MIDI files to kickstart your modern metal productions. 21 riffs in all 12 keys. 16 bars in length. Link also in the description. That's about it, everyone. Cheers to Silvermount Audio. Cheers to Torus bass. And to all of you and your new beginnings. Thank you and goodbye.